How would you like to grow your business the easy way, and in my humble opinion, the fun way, through speaking? Yes, you can literally speak your way to more business, and we can show you how. When I started my coaching business 15 years ago, I struggled making only $900 in the first 2 years. Yeah, you heard that right. Less than $1,000 in 2 years. The problem? I was busy running around to networking events and handing out business cards, trying to help everyone, everyone. Then I took the stage for the first time in my life and began speaking and teaching about the strategies I coached on. And when I really got my message dialed in, my business went literally from 3 figures a year to 7 figures. The secret I finally realized is that when you take the stage, you instantly become seen as the leading voice in your niche or industry. Today, we show entrepreneurs just like you and just like I was how to dominate your niche by becoming the leading voice, not just another expert. We run an incredible business mastermind speaker training program. It's called The Leading Voice. You guessed it. If you head over to leadingvoiceplatform.com/podcast and grab my free roadmap, 8 Pillars to Profitable Speaking. This free roadmap outlines the exact 8 secret weapons you need to truly become the leading voice in your niche. This is exclusively for my podcast listeners. You go to leadingvoiceplatform.com/podcast and start speaking your way to more business.
Welcome to The Driven Entrepreneur, where we sit down with visionaries, trailblazers, and entrepreneurs and discover why and how they do what they do. We'll get the backstory, plus plenty of life and business lessons along the way. Here's your host, Matt Brauning.
Welcome back to The Driven Entrepreneur, the go-to place for coaches, authors, speakers, entrepreneurs of all kinds to grow, start, and build a business that you love. I'm your host, Matt Brauning, with you again, and I have an amazing guest this week. I'm super excited to get, this is a topic that has been very, very important to me, not just for the beginning of the year, it is for a lot of people, but this whole last 2022, this has been something I have been focusing on intensely. It is the topic of productivity without burnout. My guest this week is Julie Miller Davis, a productivity trainer. She's a driven entrepreneur herself, runs her own business, serving and helping people to reach their own levels of excellence. She works with leaders, helping them get laser focused and efficient. God, I love that word, efficient, laser focused at daily business, breaking through roadblocks and just taking the business to the next level. So if you're in for that conversation, you got to stick around for this. Julie, how are you?
I'm doing very well. And you, Matt?
Oh my gosh, so good. We were just talking before we went on about the sunshine where I am in Grand Rapids, and my goodness, 5 minutes this year. But I will tell you that this year has been a whole different focus on productivity for me in my business and my personal life and health. I want to start off right away with just, can you give me your, for lack of a better word, maybe your philosophy on productivity? I know when I say that word, sometimes people think like doing a lot of stuff or having a busy calendar or outsourcing or whatever. Like, what's your philosophy on productivity, and how should we be thinking about this conversation we're about to have?
Oh, that's a good question. I love that. Actually, I don't think anyone's ever asked me that.
Well,
yeah, for me,
you haven't been on The Driven Entrepreneur until now.
Yeah, for me, it's really about being proactive, being a prioritizer, and taking action on the right things, the big things, rather than trying to juggle everything. Definitely my philosophy is not he who has the most full calendar wins, or he who gets the most stuff done wins, or she. It's really about who got the most important things done and moved their business forward any given day.
So cleaning off your desk isn't necessarily a win at the end of the day.
Not unless it's really, like some people are blocked by that, right? So, but if you clean, I would not say your goal should be to clean off the desk throughout the day so it's clean at the end of the day. It would be like the last 15 minutes of the day you clean your desk, if that's the issue for you. I am a perpetual dirty desk girl, so I'm not, I don't claim to be an organizer. I am, that's my, my dirty little secret is my piled up desk.
Hey, I can show you the video of mine as well. You can't see it in the background, but in the foreground, it's all the stuff. So when we talk about productivity, that's, I think, I'm glad you said that aspect, right? Which is doing the most important things first. How much energy would you say when you plan your tasks or your day or your week? How much energy do you put into the strategy, the thinking about outcomes and what's important versus the getting the to-do list together? And maybe that's even something you don't do.
No, yeah, it is something that I do. And for all of my clients and in my business, I talk a lot about habits, and we have to shift our habits in order to actually operate in a more efficient, more productive way. And our habit is to knock off all the things from our to-do list as quick as possible, and then think that the mistake we make is we think we're going to get to all the big things later, right? It's like if my best subject in school was English, and I went ahead and did my English first and all the things, and then I did my chemistry at midnight, I was going to fail at it. Like, I would never get it done, right? So reverse it, do the hard, big things first and do the little things last. But I think that where I go is I have a daily list of things I need to do, that a lot of the little things get done later, or delegation is another thing I talk a lot about, but you might not be there yet if you're listening to this, but you never know. And I am totally goal-driven, goal-oriented rather than task-oriented. So what are the things that we need to get done in order to move towards our goals this week? What are our goals this week? And then what fits into that? And the goals from the week obviously fit into the goals for the month, for the quarter, for the year.
And if someone is not working backwards from, and I agree with you 100%, if people don't work backwards from goals and outcomes, where do you start? Like, this is what's going to happen to a lot of people listening. Like, I talk to them all the time. Your hair's on fire. You're putting out fires. Everybody else is on fire, and you're in business hell. And if you're working a bakery, let's just say, there's people that are hungry in front of you and they want muffins, and you got to serve them muffins, and you need to do the strategic planning, but I feel like I quote unquote don't have time. Where do you start to get the train back on track if you feel like it's off track? Because you're not thinking big enough picture.
Yeah, I would say that is the number one person that comes to me for help. That's where they are. They're stuck putting out fires, doing all the things instead. And then all the big things are the strategy, the goals, all of that is like being put off because they're doing whatever's right in front of them. Right.
Yeah. Once I have time, I'll do it.
And then you're going to stay right where you are, spinning in that hamster wheel, just trying to get the muffins out. Right. So the strategy that I work with is around, let's lay everything out on the table, all of it, brain dump, all of it. Some people have a task list that's a couple pages long. Some people have one that's like 20 pages long. It just depends on where you are. And then we have to really focus on what are the things that you can do that only you can do. What are the things that you could delegate? And what are the things that actually need to be dumped either later to a date on the calendar so they just get off the list and out of your brain, or do they need to just be like shoved in a drawer and maybe looked at down the line because they're just not that important, or do they just totally need to be erased? We have to look at the whole big picture in order to get in control of the little things and the big things. So that's the first place that we really start.
And that looks like probably really at some point you have to take time, and whether it's I'm going to close down on a Wednesday or I'm going to take Sunday night or whenever you can fit it, but you got to sit and just start thinking bigger picture, even if it's just a little bit of time. Do you like the idea of setting aside time like every week for like strategy, bigger picture, and like saying, I'm going to protect this time window, whatever it is? Or is it something you do like a retreat once a year? Kind of, again, what's the approach to that when, again, I'm a busy day, starts early in the morning, ends late at night, back to back on everything. What's the best way for me to immediately begin changing?
It is exactly what you're saying. It is, you don't have to shut down for a whole day, but let's take 90 minutes or even 60 minutes, 3 times a week to just sit and work on the business rather than in it. Like, let's take time to dream, take time to create, take time to set goals instead of being in it and spinning.
No emails, no accounting, no text messages.
Right. Turn it all off. All notifications are off. Your phone is off. Your windows are all closed or totally shut out of. Your email has no dings. You've got nothing going on. This is like your time to sit and be quiet and dream. And then what on your task list actually fits into that?
I already feel better. I mean, just visualizing turning everything off when you said that list, I was like, yes. And I'm a big pad and paper kind of guy. So I like opening up a notebook and getting a nice pen and writing things.
Me too.
And brainstorming and dreaming. So what I'm hearing is, at the minimum, if you're already filling your calendar up, right? The recap for Julie is go ahead and set in your appointment times that 60, 90 minutes. Maybe it's Wednesday from 8 to 9 or whatever, but schedule that in for the week so that no one else is booking up that time. And you're going to sit before the muffin shop opens or whatever it is you do. You're going to sit and actually begin to dream and strategize. Just that's going to start putting the hair out from fire a little bit, right?
Right. And the other thing is, here's the mistake that people make, Matt, is that they put that in their calendar and then they don't honor it. Like, treat it like an appointment with somebody else. So they're ignoring themselves. They're like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do that, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take this appointment or open early or whatever it is. So they're not honoring their own appointment with themselves and with their business. And so would you do that to a client? Absolutely not. Or a customer? No way. So why do we do it to ourselves?
Yeah, let's go there for a second. The amount of trust that I've broken with myself, if I'm honest, over the years is absurd. I wouldn't be my own friend anymore, right? The amount of times that I've said, I'm going to do the gym, or I'm going to read for this long, or pray, or do whatever I'm going to do. And then something comes up and I let myself get busy. If I was my own friend and I broke that many appointments and dates and times of myself, I would have written me off years ago. And I don't think I'm alone in that. What is it that you think causes people to, I guess, I don't know, is it value themselves least? Is it breaking trust? Why do people break promises to themselves? What's your thought?
My thought is that they want to, and I don't know. I work mainly with women, so I don't know where men are on this, but women don't like saying no to other people or other things. And so they think they're going to let someone down if they say, no, I can't do that then. I have an appointment, but I could see you tomorrow, or I could see you at 3:00 today, or whatever it is. Like, they feel like they have to say yes in the moment, at the time, or they're going to lose that trust or lose that confidence or lose that client, when really what they're doing is, if they say no, not right now, I can do it at this other time, you're really, first of all, you're honoring yourself. Second of all, you are honoring yourself as a business person, because who's available 24/7 to anyone and everyone? Like, if you have a shop, you have hours, 9 to 5. Like, as entrepreneurs, why don't we do that? We think we have to be at everyone's beck and call. And so there's that. And I think too, Matt, they don't think about it. Something that I say often is, if you're saying yes to someone else in that time that you've set aside for yourself, you're saying no to you.
This message comes from Tidio, the top-rated customer experience management platform for online businesses. Tidio helps you increase sales with personalized shopping experiences. The automated chatbots engage customers with product recommendations and discounts based on their behavior, leading to increased conversion rates. Tidio also takes the pressure off your support team. The AI chatbots enable you to answer 80% of customer recurring questions in just seconds. Increase customer satisfaction and sell more with Tidio. Visit tidio.com/offer to get an exclusive 20% discount, or start with a free plan and upgrade later.
So if you say yes to someone else, you're saying no to yourself. And how does that feel? It doesn't feel good.
I relate to what you just said way too much. It's interesting. You're right. It is more about the other people. It's like this false expectation, this fantasy world that I can find myself living in about other people's expectations and what they need and what they want. And a friend says, can you get together at some point? I look at my calendar and I say, well, my appointment times are booked, but I was going to go to the gym tonight. So in my mind, I start to filter that as, oh, that's flexible time.
Yes.
And it's really about the expectation for somebody else and realizing, why is it that I think that if I have to see him this week? One little practice my wife and I started doing, we love people. We love people in our church and our community and our friends, and we want to get together with people. But we had to realize that when someone asks, hey, do you want to get together for coffee or for dinner? They don't always mean right now. They just go, right? They just mean, I would love to get together with you. So we started coming back and saying, what if we put a 2-week buffer, at least?
Yeah.
And I look at our calendar and go, yeah, we do have a dinner this week and we could fit another one in, but what about family time? So what if instead we go, hey, we can get together 3.5 weeks from now. Do you have this date open? And they say yes. And then we put it on the calendar and we're not rushed anymore. So realizing you can push time out a little bit.
Yeah.
And people won't be offended. At least good people won't be, right?
Right. And we don't have to squeeze everything in, and we don't have to fill every minute of every day. And we sometimes we're acting like we have to. Like we're acting as if we had that 3 1-hour or 90-minute window a week, it's like there's all this guilt associated to it. Like, I'm not working, but you are working. You're working, you're taking care of yourself. You're going to the gym, or you're taking that 90 to an hour to 90-minute window to actually work on your business and look at that bigger picture. And what are the things that you need to be doing in order to move to excellence instead of survival?
Love that. So we take some time, we prioritize ourselves, we prioritize big picture things, even if it's a little bit at first and then more.
Yep.
Now we're doing that and we want to translate. I feel like sometimes it gets lost in translation. I have this big outcome of I have a health goal or I have a new sales goal. And now I need to translate that down into schedulable tasks, setting up my week. Do you have any insights or ways when you look at your week itself, whether it's, do you do habit stacking or time windows, or how do you look at an entire week as far as segmenting days and times and so forth? Is there any strategy to that for you?
So I have what's called an ideal calendar that I ease my people into, because we're not going to get there overnight. It usually takes 4 to 6 to 8 weeks to get to your ideal calendar. And even then, our life always happens, right? But it lets us have our calendar. I call it, our calendar becomes fluid rather than rigid. And so for me, if I'm looking at a week, so my principle is that we do the big 3 every day. So if you have your task list, you have your things that are on your calendar, those aren't always movable because they're set appointments. But then we have our task list. And my principle is that you never choose more than 3. And then you interface those in your calendar. Now, if I have a super busy day, like today I have the podcast with you, and then I have a 3-hour mastermind that I run after this. And then I have a committee meeting of a committee that I'm in charge of 45 minutes after that. I this morning had my big 1 thing that I had to get done. There's no way I'm going to fit in 3.
Because the rest of the day is a highly scheduled day.
Yeah.
So you fit one big thing in this morning.
That's it.
And that's a big win.
And that's it. Yeah, I'm working on a new talk. So that's what I did today. And what else is being delegated to my team? So I sent a few messages to my team. But it's really around, I say sometimes you have a big 3 for the week if it's a highly busy week, highly full week. Maybe it's a big 3 for the day if it's not, and maybe it's a big 1. And then if you get 4, 5, 6 things done, guess what? Those were gravy. You can, and if you did your big 1 or your big 3 and you got those done, pat yourself on the back and celebrate that success. Because if you had 7 on your list and you only got 3 done, then you're like, I only got 3 things done. But if you had 3 on your list and you got 7 done, that's awesome. And if you had 3 on your list and got 3 done, that's awesome.
So there's also, what I'm hearing is there's also power in completion. And right, so not selling yourself short, like I talk about, say, when you set up a new outcome or a new goal for a health goal. And sometimes people go, I'm so sick of being out of shape. I'm going to run 3 miles every single day. And they set that up for 7 days, and then they run 4 days out of the 7, which should be a huge win when you're coming off the couch. But instead, you feel like you came up short because you set the goal too high. So I'm hearing that there's a lot of interesting power in not setting the goal so high that you're going to sell yourself short.
Right. It's a head game we play with ourselves, right?
1, 2, or 3 outcomes for the day.
Yeah.
And these aren't like little tiny tasks like I need to email my assistant, but these are like, how do you classify that? Like a bigger task or an outcome oriented?
Yeah. My big 3 are all these questions around, is this moving me towards my goal? Is this going to make me know that I accomplished something at the end of the day? And is it something that only I can do and doesn't need to be and can't be delegated? Like can't be delegated, because we lie to ourselves about things that can be delegated to.
I mean, no one would do it as good. Can you say those 3 again? These are the 3 questions to filter your outcomes, the big ones for the day.
Yeah. Is this moving me towards my goal? Is this going to make me know that I accomplished something at the end of the day? And is this something that only I can do and can't be delegated?
That's really good.
Yeah. And it's so important, Matt, because what we do, like if I sent a bunch of emails today and did some other things, cleaned up my desk or whatever, we get those days and those weeks where we're like, God, I was so busy and I don't really know what did I do all day? What did I do all week?
I've had years like that, Julie. I just go, what happened in 2021? And whole weeks.
Right. If we set 15 minutes in the morning and be like, all right, you know what? What does my day look like? What are my big 3? Do they fit the criteria? And where are they going to fit in my calendar today? I've got it set.
That's the question. That's the question that people don't ask. Okay, even when you, like you said today, you have this back-to-back, lots of scheduled things. But if you start in the morning and you say, I have 1 to 3 major outcomes that I want to accomplish today, what are they? And then where do they fit? All of a sudden you start your day by going, you know what? When I wrap up at 4, before I start dinner up with the family at 6, I got an hour and a half in there. I can get this thing taken care of. And now you're making major progress without staying up till midnight.
Right.
But where does it fit? I don't think we ask that enough.
Right. Because otherwise it's a intention without being intentional. And the road to where is paved with the best of intentions, and we're not getting anywhere. So you have to make the intention intentional. You have to schedule it. You have to take action on it. Otherwise it's a wish.
Yeah.
And intention is a wish or a hope, right?
Yeah, it's a wish. I love that.
And wishes are air. They get us nowhere.
Dave Ramsey always says, ish is a wish. When you ish your plan, it becomes a wish. Good. It doesn't get done. I love that. Julie, you also have taken one of the things I'm very interested in is people's who are in your position doing productivity for a living. Your personal calendar, your personal strategy, the planner that you use. Can you go into a little bit of detail of what does that look like? I've had some productivity planners that are so convoluted. They're great ideas, but it's so overwhelming that if I tried to fill out every little thing for every day, that would be my entire day. And then I've also done the thing where I'm like, let me just live off of the calendar and my scheduled appointments, and then I lose what's important. Can you talk to us a little bit about kind of how you do your planner? And I know you have an actual daily productivity planner that you use and that your clients use.
Yeah. So my philosophy on this, Matt, is that everyone has a different calendar that they're comfortable with. I use Google Calendar, and then for my whole monthly planning or my yearly planning, goal planning, and looking at how things are going to unfold, I use just a agenda that has the whole month laid out, not each minutia on each day. But so everyone has their own system, whether it's paper, electronic, whatever it is. And so that's where your stuff is planned out, or your goals are, or whatever it is, or your days. And then my daily productivity planner is a supplement to that. So I also am like you, things get overwhelming and crazy with some of these planners that are out there. So my daily productivity planner is literally a tear off sheet that you can tear off and toss at the end of the day. So what you do with it is you start off and you make your brain dump, what are all the things? And then you decide on your big 3. And you look and see, is there anything that could be delegated? Is there are any of these things that I could actually schedule next month and just get it off the list? Like, what can I do with these? And then you have your big three. And then there's a space on there for like notes and then awesome things that happen throughout the day that might not be related to anything, but you want to just make note of it. Like awesome thing, like the sun came out today, Matt. That's an awesome thing.
We're dreaming. But I would make a note of that.
You got a text from a friend and that you weren't expecting to get. That's an awesome thing. So it says awesome stuff on there because I love the word awesome. I'm from the 80s, but I just think sometimes we don't take a moment. It could be your gratitude things. It could be whatever you want, but like what are just so that we are thinking about not just the doing, but what awesome things are coming in our lives that we didn't expect or that happened or whatever. And then I have what's called a non-negotiable. Those are things that are actually in your calendar already, those set appointments. So you can you're just kind of getting your day at a glance on the daily productivity planner. And then you take your big three and put them into whatever calendar you're using.
That's so great. I love that. So you can use your productivity system in any calendar. It's not the calendar or the tool, whether it's written or Google or Apple or whatever, it doesn't matter. But it's really that philosophy of, I love it. So brain dump, everything that came out, you have your built-in already hard scheduled things. And I'm also hearing too, like I've had days and weeks when I look at what got scheduled and I go, wait a minute, why do I have these 3 calls if it's going to be this potential opportunity for something that I know that I'm not even going to be doing? Sometimes people just really want your time and really want to have a conversation, and it's okay to send that message or have your assistant say, gosh, we love to talk to you, but it's got to be next month. Is that okay? And then it goes off the calendar. So you can get this daily productivity planner. You have it over at juliemillerdavis.com. Guys, she actually set it up. This is really cool, for free, right? Like You get the planner.
And you can download it and you can print it off if you want to, or you can email me and you can buy one from me. That's the tear off sheet, but you can print this off in perpetuity, like forever and ever. I don't, download it and keep it. I
love it. So you do have them available for purchase, but you can also get a template emailed to you. You can print it out yourself. You can use it electronically. It's at juliemillerdavis.com/daily productivity planner with hyphens in between, daily productivity planner. juliemillerdavis.com/daily productivity planner. Go get your planner from Julie Miller Davis right now. I'm getting mine while we're on. If I'm a little distracted, I'm trying to type in my name because I love this stuff. Like I'm always looking for something I can use to get myself less busy, more focused. And ultimately, one of the words that we have for our family this year and in business is going after peace, like aggressive peace. I am not about getting pulled around by the tail this year. It's not happening, right?
Yep.
I want to aggressively go after peace. And I believe your planner is going to be the key to bringing more peace into my life, into my family's life, and into my business.
I hope you love it. That's so funny, Matt. My word this year is ease.
Hey.
Yeah.
I don't think we're that unique, Julie. I feel like there's probably a lot of people that if they sat and got a word for the year, it's in the same theme,
Could be.
Yeah. Like no more burnout, no more burnout. This isn't about doing more. This is about doing more of the right things. And that's why we're having this conversation. Julie, this has been awesome. And the time's been flying. But as we wind down here, what's something I should have asked you, but I haven't, that you'd love people to know, or that's an important takeaway for someone to remember when it comes to productivity, or quite frankly, anything that's in your heart?
I think a really important thing, Matt, is that we have to remember that you have a habit of running, not you, but people have a habit of running and running and running and running. And we're not going to be able to just stop running and integrate this stuff tomorrow. We can integrate a step tomorrow and then another step and then another step. And so give yourself some grace and use some patience in trying to integrate new patterns and habits into your calendar and into letting your business build. But if you can start even just focusing, like, if I could only do 3 things today, what would they be? Like, in addition to what's on my calendar, what would they be? And are they related to my goals? Like, just start there and try to pick 3. Just start there. and then and quit trying to check off as many things as possible.
That right there is the quotable for the day. Quit trying to check off as many things as possible. It's not getting you as far as you think it is. Instead, take Julie Miller Davis's advice, focus on 3 as a max for the day, and commit to one new habit or one new perspective at a time until you really start to get this flow of productivity. I'm loving this. This is very exciting. And I cannot wait. You also, before we go, I know you have something coming up. This is a live event you have coming up at the end of February 2023. So you might be, if you're listening to this live, of course, this is for you. It's a virtual live, but if you're on demand, it may have already passed. You can still get the productivity planner. But tell us real quick what the event is coming up.
So it's a 3-day, 90 minutes a day. So it's not taking your whole days, you guys. It's the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after President's Day. I think it's 21, 22, 23 of February from 9:30 to 11 each day. It's called Tame Your Task List. I'm calling it a jumpstart because we're going to jumpstart you into doing the right things and making sense of the mess of your task list and then interfacing with your calendar. I'm working alongside you as you work on the things. I'm not leaving you to your own devices because I don't trust you to do it on your own. So I'm going to walk you through it.
You're right not to trust me to do it on my own.
I've tried trusting people to do it on their own and they're not doing it. So I give you time to work on it.
I'll show up to the 90 minutes, but then I'm out after that.
That's right.
Oh man, you nailed it.
I was a teacher in my past life, so I know how people operate. So yeah, I'm giving you every chance for success. And if you can be there, if this is already past that and you're listening to it later, it comes up a couple times a year. So just check me out and see what's coming up.
But they can register for that at juliemillerdavis.com/jumpstart, right?
Yes, that's right.
Outstanding. So go check that out. That's going to be awesome. 3 days, 90 minutes a day. I love it. Tame that task list, and I need it as bad as everyone else does. Julie, thank you for the time and just being a part of this. You've been awesome. I know we've only scratched the surface and we could keep on going for hours on this, but we both have 3 more actions to take care of for the day.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Matt. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Guys, that's the show for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, check out Julie Miller Davis at all the links. They'll be in the show notes if you get this show on demand at mattbrauningpodcast.com. Make sure you check that out. And of course, you can follow Julie Miller Davis on LinkedIn at Julie Miller Davis. Or what do we have here? You can also follow her on Facebook at Julie Miller Davis 15, the number 15. You can follow me at Matt Brauning on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And I will see you next week with another Driven Entrepreneur. Welcome back to 2023. Bye-bye.